following program
is a work of fiction and is in no way meant to be historically accurate, except for the talking turkeys.
My fellow Americans,
that part is totally real.
Each and every week we offer up terrific tunes, timely topics, and sagacious conversation.
What the hell is that shit?
It means having or showing mental discernment and good judgment. And each and every week we get thousands of posts and emails that have one cordial comment in common.
Newsflash, it isn't always about you.
And thanks for that newsflash. Now we got some news for you.
I'm Scott Edward Phelps.
And I'm Dave Simmons.
This week, it is all about us. So buckle up, buttercups.
Uh-oh.
These are our songs, and these are our stories. And we're sticking to them. Starting now on the Audiophiles.
Chins up, boobs out, it's showtime.
time for music.
Civilized conversation.
Wherever the music takes me, kitten.
Scott Edward Phelps.
Ah, yes, the legendary wit, or at least half of it.
Dave Simmons.
Good evening, Dave.
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Tell you right out, I'm a man who likes talking to a man who likes to...
The most important music show ever.
Cue inspirational music.
The Audiophiles.
Hey, DJ, dedicate this to my baby. Hey, DJ, if he's tuning in tonight, he's gotta hear this song and hear that I was wrong. My happiness depends on what you play. Hey, DJ.
Three things certain in life: death, taxes, and everyone loves a mystery. What was that song? Who sings it? Who wrote it?
Who are those guys?
Those guys are us. And that mystery song, stay tuned. Or fast forward if your anxiety meds aren't helping you. The show is the Audiophiles. The episode is That's Our Stories and We're Sticking to Them. And the songs that go with those stories, well, we're kicking it off, cats and kitties. He's a drummer. He's a songwriter. He's a floor wax. He's a dessert topping. He's...
Dave Simmons.
He wrote and produced his first gold record at 14. He has won so many others that he once tried to deposit them in Fort Knox. His band, the Juicy Fruits, single-handedly gave birth to the 70s. This is the story of that sound.
The Audiophiles.
All right, we're going to come back.
The Juicy Fruits.
No, not the Juicy Fruits. The Juicy Fruits. He emphasized the fruits. We're going to come back to that momentarily. But right now, everybody hold on as Dave holds you.
Rain beats down all around. I'm lying with the heart awake. Look around and I found I've taken all that I can take. When my world looks dim, she's the light that makes me wanna see again. And I just pretend that she holds me, caress and kiss the night away. And she holds me, makes everything alright. That she holds me, caress and kiss the night away. And she holds me, yeah, she holds me. She doesn't know what it does to me when I look into her eyes. Time just slows, and I know she's all that I can visualize. When my world closes in, she's the air that makes me wanna breathe again. So I just pretend that she holds me. Yeah, she holds me. Here comes the sun again, bathed in the light. Here comes the sun again. I pray for the night, 'cause she holds me, caress and kiss the night away. And she holds me,
right, let me see if I have this clear and straight, because I don't want to confuse anything. She holds you.
Yes, she does.
Juicy Fruits, huh? Okay, we'll get back to that in a minute.
Actually, that song can be found on Engine 9's Enjoy the Buffet album, and that song was actually handpicked when we played the Millennium Music Festival in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. They put out the best of the music festival.
No, it's catchy as all giddy.
And that was on there.
Andy Partridge would be proud of you.
When I wrote that, I had Julie in mind, and it's got a Julie song. And when WSTW played it, she heard it on the radio, and I said, "How many of your friends have had songs written about them that have been played on the radio?"
That's right.
Yeah, that's a big 0. But basically, I was just trying to write a pop song, just a basic, 3/4.
Well, you did
pop song. Did you catch the Beatle references all through it?
I really wasn't paying that much attention.
Well, the whole bridge is "Here Comes the Sun."
Okay.
Again.
All right.
Had a Beatle ending.
Oh, sure.
Beatle ending.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. Andy Partridge just climbed on the Beatle family tree a long time ago, and that's what I meant when I said that's what it sounded. With a little Sting Police kind of thing going on in there too, with the flavors.
Yeah, and so we cut the track live.
Yeah.
In the studio, and then Chris overdubbed the vocals. Rest in peace, Chris. I miss him every day.
Yeah.
And it was very quick. Wrote it, showed it to the guys.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity to meet Chris, but just on the basis of what I've heard of his work, and especially this piece right here, I realize how terribly cruel and tragic life is, because Chris is dead and Morgan Wallen isn't. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Cancer's a bitch. But yeah, he was the best interpreter of my work, I think, vocal-wise.
Mm-hmm. He was your Dionne Warwick. You were Hal and Mark.
Well, he was. He was my Roger Daltrey.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's my story.
That puts it in a more
in a cooler way.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Good for you. The whole Juicy Fruit thing's a joke, obviously. I found that. I don't know what that. Actually, that's from a weird movie called The Paradise or something, and Rod Serling at the time stepped up and joined in and did this weird, wacky, fun narration to the thing, and I found the clip, and I went, well, this actually could fit Dave's lifestyle.
There you go.
The Juicy Fruits. All right, it's obvious that we're doing something a little out of the ordinary here this week, and that would be, yes, we are making it all about us. Both of us are accomplished songwriters and performers, and we thought, well, we get lots of requests. Sorry. We get request. We got a request once.
Tell your wife to stop requesting.
No, she doesn't do that. She's a big champion, like Julie. I'm sure it's like, oh, that's wonderful. I have no idea what you're doing, but that's wonderful. Anyway, so we thought we would take this episode and just get off the other stuff that we usually do and say, look, here's stuff we wrote and or performed, and these little stories behind them, and because we want to get closer to all of you, and we know that all of you want to get closer to. I can't do this with Chris. All right, I have a story.
Scott Edward Phelps.
Our top story tonight.
The Audiophiles.
All right, you know me. I'm going to try to be different every way I can. This isn't so much the top story. It's the first story, because here's the short version. I went to Nashville in 1975 from growing up in New Orleans with a group that we kind of had a Crosby, Stills, Nashish thing going on. Well, long story very short, that didn't work out, and they all moved back to New Orleans within 6 months. But my wife, de jour, and my then 18-month-old son, we stayed in Nashville. But then, come 1979, 1980, my wife and I divorced after we had moved to Jacksonville, Florida, because I was promoted by my day job to be a sales manager. Well, when we divorced, I went, fuck this day shit, and I went back to Nashville.
Right.
When I got back to Nashville, I needed an in. I had an album cut. Mel Tillis cut a song of mine and a couple of other minor things, and I had worked with this fellow Don Earl a few times. And so I had connections, but I didn't have connections. I moved in. It's a long story as to how this all happened, but a very lovely couple named Danny and Ruby Heiss, who Danny was an accomplished voiceover artist. He was an ex-radio DJ broadcast personality. Ruby was a songwriter who co-wrote a lot of songs with a really hot chick that I ended up marrying to become wife number 2. But that's another episode.
Right.
I was living with Danny and Ruby, and I needed a job. Now, they're the ones. Ruby's actually the one that got me the job as the gopher for Roy and Barbara Orbis. And,
oh, really?
But that's later in the story, or another story. I needed a job, and I knew that Danny did an occasional voiceover work for this little homegrown jingle company called Charlie and Friends, and it was owned by a former DJ named Charlie Process, and his wife Jean, who was a former hard-nailed sales manager, lovely woman, but she would have made a fantastic agent in Hollywood. She was one of those roll over you and kill you.
Was she like Joey's agent on Friends?
Oh, no. Like Estelle, yeah.
Estelle.
No, she was more like Leona Helmsley. That rings an old bell for you. She would roll over you, kill you, then take you to lunch. But anyway, I was accomplished, and I knew that I could write that kind of jingles and commercials, but, and Danny introduced me to Charlie and Jean, and this is my friend Scott, and blah, 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 and he had a little studio. They worked out of their house, the basement of their house. But it was a professional operation. They had some regional
What was
success.
it at that time? Was that a 4-track or an 8-track or?
No, this was a full-blown, I want to say 24-track studio.
Wow.
It was a little baby 24-track studio,
Wow.
but he'd had it custom built in his garage,
Right.
or in his basement. So anyway, I sensed an opportunity, but at the same time, they didn't know me from Adam. So I said, hey, I do singing, vocals, if you want. Okay, yeah, sure, we will. And they were nice because I was a friend of Danny's, and they were Danny's friends. But you know how it is when they're saying, yeah, but they're meaning, go away, we're busy.
It's like a forced play date.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
It is. And we all have done that, and we've all been on both ends of that thing. So that was me. So I went back, and I'm living with Danny and Ruby. Now, I don't remember how I found this out, but I think it must have come from Danny. Rotel. Ever heard of Rotel tomatoes?
No.
They're still in the grocery stores to this day. They come in a little can, like half a can of a 303 size, but they're a special blend of like green tomatoes, red tomatoes, chili peppers. It's a spicy tomato-ish
like
can.
a salsa type stuff?
Kinda, but it's not designed for that. It's designed as you would use canned tomatoes for anything, except you spice up the meal by using this hot stuff. Okay, and it had a little Mexican thing on the cover, Rotel tomatoes.
See?
That's back in the days when it didn't matter. I found out that Gene and Charlie were trying to get the commercial business for Rotel. They didn't tell me because we weren't communicating regularly. I thought I can do this, and this is one of those little mini Hollywood stories. I decided, all right, you can't beat them, join them, or show them. I wrote a 60-second spot for Rotel. I came up with a little jingle idea and a little slogan. All we had in Danny's house was a Fender Rhodes piano and his reel-to-reel deck with 4 tracks available max if you go back and forth sound on sound. I wrote this piece. I recorded 1-track piano and me singing it. Then I put 2 harmonies on it. And then Dan did what's known in the biz kids as a donut vocal, meaning in a 60-second commercial, for 20 seconds you hear the jingle and music. Then for 20 seconds you hear, when you come to Ralph Nitz's automobile, and then the jingle takes it out.
Right.
Danny was an accomplished voice artist. As a matter of fact, back in the day in the TV commercials, he was not the voice of the Green Giant. But in the Green Giant TV commercials, he was the guy in the donut hole saying, Green Giant vegetables and blah, blah, blah. So he was really cool. So wrote this piece, did this track, got him to do the vocal, put it together, put it on a cassette because that's what we did in those days. I got in the car and I drove over to Charlie and Gene's place, Charlie's studio. I was welcome because they knew me, but they were in the middle of a session. So I kind of stepped in quietly. I just kind of waved and they looked up and it was like, hi, but, hi, get lost. But Kurt, and I just stayed laid back. I didn't say a word. They were doing their thing. They took the break. They were checking on something, and Charlie wasn't doing anything at all. So I stepped in and I said, hi, I'm just in the neighborhood and wanted to stop by. And Charlie goes, I said, I promise. I'm not here to do anything except this. And I handed him the cassette and I said, listen to this at your leisure. And I'm out of here. Thanks. Have a great session. And I turned around and walked out.
Right.
Took about 20 minutes to drive from where Charlie's studio was in his home to where Danny and Ruby's apartment was. This is in the not cell phone days.
Right.
As I walked in the door of the apartment, the answering machine was blinking. I hit it, and it was Charlie, and he goes, yeah, this is Charlie. I'm looking for Scott. Scott, if you get this message, could you give me a call? So I gave him a call, and I said, yeah, what's up, man? He goes, could you talk to me about this? Would you want to come over and talk to me about this? And I said, sure. I said, what later this week? He goes, no, I mean now. He said, well, actually, I'll be finished with the session in about an hour. Would you come back over? So long story long, I went back over. They were knocked out with what I had given them. So they pitched it to Rotel. They didn't get the business. But what it did for me was it opened the door.
Right.
And then I did a number of commercial work. I became kind of their go-to guy for this and that and the other. And I actually didn't realize that I had that little 4-track terrible.
Oh, you got the Rotel thing?
The Rotel thing with Danny.
This is cool.
And this is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, remember the quality of it. It was recorded in Danny's living room with a Fender Rhodes piano in 1981.
Right.
With Danny doing the voice. But it portrays, and just think of a 60-second radio commercial for Rotel tomatoes.
Tomatoes over rice don't usually have spice, but don't tell Rotel. That casserole you savor isn't meant to have much flavor, but don't tell Rotel. Rotel makes every day taste a very special way and serves each meal so well. Every single dinner isn't meant to be a winner, but don't tell Rotel.
Rotel tomatoes are the best kept secret on your grocer's shelf. Rotel tomatoes think they're just ordinary tomatoes, when in fact Rotel adds zest, zing, and flash to even the simplest recipes. So tell your wife, tell your mother, but shh, don't tell Rotel.
Every single dinner isn't meant to be a winner, but don't tell Rotel. Don't tell Rotel.
Harry Nilsson, eat your heart out.
Your friend sounds like Casey Kasem.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
He was one from that era.
Yeah.
That's what he did. And that was
That's good. I like that.
It was cute. And again, they didn't get the business, but not because of that. We ended up doing some other regional stuff. And I wrote off and on for them freelance for 5 or 6 years. In fact, up until the time that I left Nashville.
It's an earworm. It gets in your head.
There it is. And it's got that little, I said Harry Nilsson. I can hear Harry Nilsson written on something. That's what I was looking for. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You're listening to The Audiophiles.
This could be the break we've been looking for.
Oh, speaking of the break, Dave's got some mo.
Dave Simmons, The Audiophiles.
Now, to get back to my story, see? Oh, why don't you stop annoying me? Well, I'm sorry. Hey!
He's not annoying anybody. He got a little broken thing going on.
Yeah. Well, this song was initially a hidden track on the Enjoy the Buffet album, and we attached it to the last track and had like 30 seconds of silence. So if you left it going, you heard it. If you turned the CD off, you didn't hear the song.
Like the dog whistles on Sgt. Pepper.
Exactly.
If you hang in there for a while.
Hang in there. Yes. Yeah. So I had a friend who had a brother that committed suicide.
Yeah.
So I was kind of inspired, and I wrote this about the desperation. That last phone call, you're trying to reach out to somebody because you're broken. That's it.
So I got to get a message to you on downers.
On downers, yes. So go ahead and play it, Scott.
At home, sitting by myself, alone. I wonder whatever's gonna happen to me. What must be will be. You say everything will be alright. Maybe someday I'll see the light, but I'm all messed up. Just a little bit afraid. So take a look at what you need. I'm not the man I used to be. I'm not what you think you see. I'm not the person that I was. I can't tell you what it does to me. What it does to me. I'm free. But I'm broken as can be. The distance standing between us, understanding snatches moments, but it just out of reach. Everything is out of reach. Sometimes I recall only loneliness.
Yeah, I'm uplifted.
It's really weird because some of the things I didn't think a live drum track would be fitting. We were trying to create a mood with the song.
Yeah.
That is the funky drummer beat slowed way down. And looped and just looped over. Not a drum fill in it. I played guitar. Did I play bass? I might play bass.
How old is that song?
That song is probably 20 years old.
See, everything goes around. I think that would be catchy and I don't want to say catchy. That would be attractive to the listening demo now. The young people.
Well, Billie Eilish, yeah. Billie Eilish is that's kind of.
No,
but you know what I'm saying? It's that it's that doom and gloom.
And, it's apples and oranges.
But yeah, that's just a song. So I was trying to.
The word that pops to mind is for me, and that's why I say it would appeal to the young demographic now is despair.
Yes,
it's quiet despair. In fact, I wrote a folky song a long time ago, and I have no demo of it whatsoever. And I took the title from a line that was made famous by what's his name, Charles Thoreau.
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson. Thoreau, the poet,
right?
Who wrote "Most people live lives of quiet desperation."
Yes.
And I wrote a song called "Quiet Desperation," and it had that, and that's what I'm hearing with that.
Yeah. And basically, I gave it to my buddy, and I was like, "Look, man, this is This is kind of about, your brother."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was one of those type of deals. I always really liked that song, but I was never confident in it enough to put it on a record, other than as a hidden track.
Sure.
I just didn't have the confidence.
Well, it doesn't have, in Tom Hanks' words, it's not happy.
It's not snappy.
Happy.
And I didn't think the chorus was catchy enough. But I mean, I'm not the man I used to be.
I'll tell you what, if I was producing that song for you, I would say at some point, let's do this. Let's come out of the phone voice and sing it in your real voice poignantly, and then go back out in the phone voice, because the phone voice over that length of time.
Well, it wears on your.
And it's easy to second guess, but I'm just saying, fresh ears. I'm going, and then then you'd have a hit record.
But yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, good for you. All right, I'm not bitter, not at all. Check this out.
6 Degrees of SEP.
Yeah, yo mama. There are two, or were, I'm not sure which one of them is still alive or not, relatively well-known gentlemen in the R&B pop business named Chuck Jackson. One of them was one more famous of the two. He had a hit in, I want to say 60 or 61 called Any Day Now, which you can hear on jukeboxes and or oldies. Any day now, do-do-do-do-do. I mean, it's a classic tune.
Right.
That's not that Chuck Jackson that I'm talking about. This Chuck Jackson was a member of an R&B group called the Independents, which I was not familiar with. But for clarity's, hey, I know that. He was a co-writer of several pretty successful R&B type pop tunes back in the 60s, 70s, even in the 80s. He co-wrote a Whitney Houston song, Where Do Broken Hearts Go?
Oh, wow.
Where do broken hearts go? Do they find their way home? Blah, blah, blah. And interestingly enough, I didn't know this when I was looking this up. That record, Where Do Broken Hearts Go, created an all-time chart hit record for Whitney Houston on the Billboard Hot 100, because at the time it came out, it became her 7th consecutive number one. And that was a record that was broken, no pun intended, that had been held 6 consecutives by the Beatles and the Bee Gees. Both of them had, but nobody had 7, and she did, and she did. And according to Wiki and the other information, because I double-checked, to this day,
she's still there.
She's still, no matter what Kanye does, she's still.
Wow.
Or.
Yeah.
So anyway, Chuck Jackson, he was going to come to Nashville, and he was going to do some stuff, and somehow Billy Strange hooked up with him and talked to him. I guess he knew him or had met him at some time, and he talked about me writing pop songs. Billy actually arranged an appointment for Chuck to come by the studio where I worked as a staff songwriter and write together for a couple hours. So I was going to have a chance to write with a guy who co-wrote a Whitney Houston hit. And I thought, this is cool. Billy and I talked about it, and I said, well, here's what I'd like to do. I want to hedge the bet. I want to write I want to write 2 songs. I want to write an up-tempo, happy, snappy, and I want to write a ballad. And I said, because what I want to do is I don't want to have this guy come in and sit down, and he's there for just a couple of hours, and we spend 45 minutes shooting the shit, and then another 45 minutes. You got any ideas? No, I don't know. You got any ideas? I said, I want to feed it to him, but I'm going to do it in a way that I'm going to write the song. Then I'm going to show him, and let's demo the song. But I said, I don't want to show him that. I'm just going to have a guitar and maybe sitting at the piano, and it's kind of deceptive, but it's like, hey, how about this? I got this much, and then there's a hole there, which I've already filled.
Right.
But let him fill it.
Right.
And then next thing you know, we got a song, whether it goes anywhere or does anything.
Right.
But at least this way we make the maximum amount of efficiency out
Best bang for your
out of our time
Yeah,
together. Sure.
yeah.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I wrote this song called Don't Need No One, and I wrote a ballad called To Who Do Believe. Billy liked the songs anyway. We went ahead and we did a rough reel in the studio demo, which I'm going to play excerpts for you to prove the point. But the point of the story isn't any of that. It has to do with something else that I've whined about before, and you'll enjoy the punchline. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll play the pieces. The song, and again, these were designed to be written with Chuck Jackson and designed for the purposes of saying to him, hey, wouldn't these be perfect for Whitney? So will you and Clive get together and decide if you can play them for Whitney? Okay, the first song is called Don't Need No One. And then the ballad, vocals by the fantastic demo singer Jessica Boucher in Nashville. She's retired. But this was designed.
That Bobby Boucher.
Yeah. This was designed, like the other, for Whitney Houston.
Troubled times, we're loving hearts in a world of broken vows. People giving up on holding on when the heartache comes around. It's no secret, I've been told, when it comes down to stay or leave, what it takes to make a love survive is to do believe. To believe the dreams come true. To believe the way we do. Love is not a tender thread. It's a fabric that we weave. What it takes to make a love survive is to do
Credit where it's due, by the way, by way of mentioning, that is the There's no words to describe the guy. Johnny Neal playing keyboards on that.
I've played with Johnny before.
And that's him doing on that little whirl pedal thing, dial thing on the keyboard at that time on the
How much
synthesizer.
interaction did you have with Johnny?
Oh, a lot. He and I wrote a couple of songs together, too. And
I've heard some funny Johnny Neal road stories.
Oh, yeah. Well, Johnny was a hound dog and a hound dog man.
Oh, that's
He had a couple of strokes in the last year.
That's what I've heard.
And he's back on his feet. He's blind and has been, I guess, probably since birth. I think I told you that Johnny Neal story. The one about the one session that we were doing. He always had somebody come and help him from the piano into the control room. And his sense of humor. Everybody forgot to get him, and he was sitting out there at the piano by himself. And when everybody realized it's silence in the control room, and we look out in the studio, and way in the back in the dimly lit room, he's sitting there at the piano with the spotlight on him, and he knows now he's being listened to. And he leaned over, and when you talk to Johnny, he sounded like Wolfman Jack.
Yeah,
got that kind of voice, baby. He leaned over to the microphone and went, "Johnny Neal, find your own way down." Funny guy. So now the punchline of the story. The Chuck Jackson interview writing session fell through. His schedule changed. He called Billy, I apologize, I can't make it. Tell your kid, good luck, blah, blah. And maybe we'll get together sometime. That never happened. Well, okay. Shit happens. That's the way it goes.
You had the songs anyway.
Yeah, it's the big leagues. And I said, well, but still, it would have been nice to have Chuck Jackson's name on it. That would have taken some clout. So anyway, Billy said, well, you know what? I like the demos. I think both songs are strong. And he said, let's send them to Clive Davis. He said, I'll get on the phone. And Billy Strange by that time was the Billy Strange of much accomplishment.
Right.
He was one of the few people I ever met who called Dick Clark to talk to Dick Clark, and when his wife answered the phone would say, Esther or whatever her name was, "Hi, it's Billy. Get Richard on the phone for me." That kind of, knowing everybody and everybody knowing him. So he sent the tapes to the songs to Clive Davis, who was the head of the label and dealing with Whitney in those days. 3-4 weeks go by because you cast your bread upon the waters. Billy calls me in and he says, "Yeah, Haas." He called everybody Haas. He said, "Haas, let's have a chat. Close the door." I said, "Okay." I sat down. I said, "What's up?" He goes, "Well, I heard back from Clive." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "I'm not going to bullshit you or screw you around." He said he passed. And I said, "All right, well, again, kids, aspiring songwriters, I don't know how it is in the big new world, but in the traditional world, here's how it works. It's like at the NFL. If you lose the game, all right, you take a shower, you shake it off, you have a drink, and you play next week. You don't whine, you don't stomp your feet, and you don't, you don't do the thing. You're not entitled. You got to work at it and keep plugging." So I said, "That's fine." Then Billy showed me the letter from Clive Davis. It had 3-4 sentences in it. One said, "Dear Billy," and this is a measure to my money of Clive Davis's ego. Instead of saying, "Good to hear from you, how you been?" "Dear Billy, listen to the tunes. Just don't feel they're right for Whitney. Clive." And I said, okay, again, this is the big leagues. There was another sentence before the Clive. And it pissed me off. And I told Billy, and I'll complete the story. And that line was in Clive, and it wasn't a handwritten letter. Clive did hand sign it, but it was typed by some secretary.
Probably dictaphone to a secretary.
That's okay. He's Clive Davis.
Yeah.
Big deal. "I think you should send these to Dolly Parton," is what he said.
Because it came out of Nashville. Yeah.
Well, that's the punchline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was going to make a mystery out of it, but let's do this. I said to Billy, "This is bullshit." And I said, "I'm going to tell you why." And Billy smiled in his Obi-Wan way and said, "Okay, tell me what you think and I'll tell you if you're right." And I said, "Well, neither one of these songs has a whiff of country music in it.
Right.
Nothing. And I don't know that they'd be monster hits for Whitney Houston, but I'm proud of them. I think
they could be album.
They're good, strong songs in both cases."
Yes.
And I said, and there you go. And he said, "Yeah. And?" I said, "The fucking envelope's postmark was Nashville, Tennessee, wasn't it? Because they came out of your office, didn't they?" And he sort of leaned back in his Obi-Wan way and laughed and said, "There you go, Haas." And I said, "You know what? Fuck Clive Davis." And Billy said, "Well," I said, "No, and not because, I'll tell you why. Because, and you've seen the documentary.
Yeah.
Clive Davis has this mystical reputation. Remember we talked about Prince last week, and I said I could never understand the worship.
Yeah.
The admiration and respect and all that, sure, but the worship level. Clive Davis has this guy's got magical ears. He hears hits when he can just look at it and go, "That's a hit." Yeah, this idiot went, in this particular case, heard these two songs, didn't want to use them, which is his prerogative. But how condescending do you get to go, oh, this envelope, well, this is the reason. And years later, I thought about it a little bit, and I wondered, well, Mr. Magical Ears, I can't help but believe that his decision about the songs had something to do with the fact that they came from Nashville as well. So his ears didn't mean shit to me.
Well, here's another possibility. Maybe he didn't even, when he saw Nashville, maybe he didn't even listen.
Well, I thought of that, except he knew they came from Billy. And I think he had enough respect for Billy as a producer and the things that he'd accomplished to be able to do that. But I just said, and the postscript to all of this is, I really was, and I'm not to this day. I'm just going to say I'm not bitter. I'm not. I was annoyed because it's like, come on. You're supposed to be Mr. You Can Hear a Song. Judge the song on its merits, not where it was fucking mailed from.
Right.
Okay. That's just bullshit. But the other part of it was with those two songs and that exposure, some of the other stuff that I had done. And there's another song coming up here on my last story. Well, you know what? I'll leave that punchline for that. It has to do with a question that I used to get asked a lot. Now I get asked every now and then. And I'll tease it this way. The question is, oh, your stuff's pretty good. How come you don't write songs anymore? Hold that thought. And we'll talk about it. First of all, though, let's jump off for just a second and see what's in the box of chocolates this week.
What's up?
What do we have here?
What's all the hubbub?
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
I know. What's up?
Dave Simmons.
What?
Scott Edward Phelps.
What?
The Audiophiles.
Like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
This has nothing to do with Dave and his stories or me and my stories. This just crossed my magic desk this week, and I thought, this is kind of cute, and I'm going to share it on the show because I think I get a kick out of it. Some guy put it together. I started to go down the path of this is technically AI, and this is what's going to happen. People are going to start screwing around with stuff and warn. But I thought, you know what? No preaching this time around. Let's just have some fun. What he did was he took the software that you can get easily that turns the speaking voice into a singing voice.
Right.
Then he took a chunk of the Randy Newman song from Toy Story, You've Got a Friend in Me.
Uh-huh.
Then he took video of the scene in the Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson movie, A Few Good Men, where Tom Cruise is saying, I want answers. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That magic scene right there. He chopped, he cut, he did a little edit. The whole thing runs about 20 seconds, but it's well done for what it is. The quality is a little crappy, but the guy didn't spend weeks and weeks on it, but I just thought it was a kick. Okay, remember, You've Got a Friend in Me, Jack Nicholson on the witness stand, you can't handle the truth. I'll punch the wrong button. Check this out.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth. Oh, gee, I'd like to ask for recess. You can't handle the truth. Did you order the code red? I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. You can't handle the truth.
That's pretty funny.
If you can find it online, it's a video, and it works because it's the actual movie scene when he does it. Right. It's just cut back and forth. And he did a nice job of editing. You couldn't quite make it out. He threw in the little scene where Kevin Bacon, as the prosecuting attorney, is standing back there going, I'd like to take a break or something. And then you hear Tom Cruise going, did you order the code red? And then Jack Nicholson's, I don't give a damn what you're entitled to. You can't handle the truth.
Who was the other guy on there? The one the impressionist?
Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak. Have you
Lieutenant Weinberg.
Yeah, have you ever seen the interview with him about that scene?
Yeah.
Where they only had Nicholson for a day.
Yeah.
And they got Jack's parts down so that then he had to be Nicholson.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's good stuff. He's a talented guy too. All right. So that's our little journey into, the truth.
Two guys who know tunes. Talking tunes. The Audiophiles.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run.
All right, I'm going to wrap up that other thing with a little tease that I just did. That's obviously Kenny Rogers, Mr. Know When to Hold 'em, Know When to Fold 'em. Oh, yeah? Well, listen to this story. My friend Cyril Rawson and I, a Canadian co-writer, he and I wrote the No Pain, No Gain. That was the number one thing in Canada in 91, and some other songs along the way. And we wrote the song called Close to Home. It was a country song, country in those days, whatever country music was in those days. And we thought, this is pretty good. It's a good story. It's interesting and all the rest of that. We didn't really have anybody in particular in mind. I played it for my publisher, and she went, "Oh, man, this is Kenny Rogers." And I went, "Oh, yeah, okay, sure, why not?" And in that case, I was writing for a company called Bull's Run, I think, but it was run by a young lady named Mickey Foster. Mickey Foster was one of 2 daughters of a guy named Fred Foster, the founder of Monument Records, Roy Orbison's home, Chris Christopherson's home.
Yeah.
He was a mogul in a country sort of way, a really good guy. So there was some connection there. Mickey was a go-getter. She was Estelle, only she was a cool Estelle. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to play this for Larry Butler, who was Kenny Rogers' producer.
Right.
Now, I had actually met Larry a time or two in my work. I did a freelance interview with him for a magazine, and I got to know him a little bit. So there was a lot of familial connection. It wasn't just a cold call.
Right.
It's the idea. And this was a good story song, and Mickey liked it, and we felt like, yeah, there you go. She says, well, I'm going to take it over and play it for Larry. So she hopped in the car, and this is Music Row, where you walked a block and you pitched your song.
Right.
So she did. She gets me on the phone a little later, and she says, no, actually, she got me on the phone the next day, because what happened with her was she went to Larry's office, and she walked in. Larry saw her right away because it was Mickey. She played him the song, and Larry Butler goes, "This is great. This is Kenny." And that's exactly what I said. And he said, well, not only that, he says, he's cutting right now. He said, I was in there this morning, and I came over here to do something. I'm on my way back to the studio. I'm going to take the tape over there and play it for him. She said, well, okay. Now, she didn't go with him because she was cool, and she knew that. He goes to the studio, and she comes back to her office. Now, this is the relationship they had. There were no cell phones in those days.
Right.
But Larry was cool, and he knew the gig. So what he did was he called Mickey on the studio phone and either put it on speakerphone or laid the receiver down so she could hear the conversation between Larry Butler
and Kenny Rogers.
Larry Butler plays the demo of the song, of which you're going to hear an excerpt in a moment. The song is called Close to Home, and Kenny responded as to how he felt about the song. You're going to hear that in a second. The song is called Close to Home very quickly because you're not aware of the song, the lyrics clear, but here's the story. It's a guy who's out of town driving a pickup truck back into a small town, returning to that town after a number of years when he left the girl he loved behind, thinking it wouldn't work out anyway, and he had other things to do. And being away, he realized that he loved her, missed her, and wanted to come back. She was the love of his life, so he was coming back to reclaim, rekindle, whatever the case may be. And as he's driving back into town and reaches the city limits, there's a guy walking along needing a ride, so he stops and gives the guy a ride. This is called Close to Home.
I picked him up on a dirt road just a mile out of town. He climbed in and he thanked me, said he'd never seen me around. I told him I used to live here, that was a long time ago. And seeing that city limit sign, it's close to home. Said he'd been out walking, trying to cool down. He said that girl's got a temper, she can put her foot down. I said I once loved a girl like that, then I left her alone. And the way you described her, it's close to home. He said her name, and I just about died. It was that old flame that I'd come back to find. I came so far with that woman in mind, hearing she's not alone. It's close to home. I let him off by his mailbox. He invited me in. I just said no thank you. He said good luck to you, friend. He said I hope that you find her. Well, we'll never know. What I found was I'd lost her. It hit close to home. 'Cause he said her name, and I just about died. It was that old flame that I'd come back to find. I came so woman in mind. Hearing she's not alone, it's close to home.
So Larry Butler plays the entire demo for Kenny Rogers. Mickey Foster hears the conversation, and here's what happens. He plays the song ends. Kenny Rogers says to Larry Butler, "Wow, that's a great song." Larry Butler says, "Here I am. I know it." Then comes the phrase that pays for hundreds of thousands of songwriters through the years who would rather hear your legs on fire than these words. Kenny Rogers. And it never is spoken in a normal tone of voice. It always is like a constipated, I just don't hear it from me. Dead silence. Mickey's listening to all this on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Butler says, "Kenny, dude, it's you. It's a great song. It's a story song. It's, yeah, it is, man. I agree with you. I just don't hear it from me." Larry Butler gives it one more shot. "Larry, you were doing the pop thing. You were successful with that. I'm the one who found you Lucille, which got your country career started. I'm the one who found you The Gambler, which sold 25 gazillion records. I'm the one who found Coward of the County, the follow-up that sold 5 gazillion records. I'm not telling you this is going to be that, and I'm not telling you this is going to be I Will Always Love You, but that's a strong song, and you can make it your own, and people will love it and identify it." And Kenny goes, "I think it's great. I just don't hear it for me."
Wow.
End of story. Song was never recorded. Kenny didn't do it. In answer to the question, it used to come frequently now, every now and then, because I haven't done it for so long and nobody knows that I do it anyway or did it. And I tell them the short story is this. I said, well, and I tell a short version of that story, but that's not, I didn't go, well, fuck this, I quit. In the space of about 6 months in the last year I lived in Nashville, something like that happened to me about 4 times, about an average of every 4 or 5 weeks. When it's one thing to have, you're just convinced. When we wrote No Pain, No Gain, we thought it was a sure hit for the Judds. And if you listen again to that song, you'd know, and you go, yeah, I can hear that. And,
right.
And Colleen did it in Canada, and it sold 2 million records. So
right.
We were right, and we knew instinctively. This was a Kenny Rogers hit, whether it was a monster or not. It was, but he wouldn't, and he didn't even think, well, okay, Larry, I disagree with you, but what the hell? Let's cut it.
Let's cut it
and see what it sounds like.
See what it sounds like.
No. That's when I knew mystical forces were at work. When a guy like Larry Butler champions the song and still can't get it cut by his artist, then there are other forces in the universe that are saying, you're never going to be any more successful than you have been up until now. And so I said, okay, I'm done. That's it. And I've gone on to do other things.
Larry Butler should have said, I need you to cut this, Kenny.
Well,
and it might have been a different discussion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. All of the reasons you can come up with why it shoulda, coulda, woulda, and you just say to yourself, well, the fact that it didn't told me, and quietly, I didn't leave town in a huff. There's a great little folky kind of pop guy named Robbie Fulks, F-U-L-K-S. I'll bring this in next week and play it for you. He was one of those guys who came to town and tried to make it happen and couldn't, and he wrote this wonderful, he does it live, it's hilarious, it's super, super great. It's called Fuck This Town. And it's kind of a Stray Cats shuffle boogie rhythm kind of song. Right. Can't get a hit, so fuck this town. I didn't have that attitude about it. I just quietly resigned myself to the fact. And I remember saying to myself, you know what? I can write more songs from now on, but I can't write better songs.
Right.
I've written my best songs.
Right.
And I've done with them what I can, and clearly the universe wants me to do something else, and so I moved along. So, Kenny, Clive, bite me.
Simmons.
Chicks dig me. But that's another story.
The Audiophiles.
All right. Dave has a fan club everywhere. All right. You want to set this up?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever done this to you, but this was done to me.
Oh, that's been done to me. All right.
Julie had a friend a work friend that was a good friend of Julie's. And she was like, I'm getting married. Julie was in the bridal party. They used to come over to our house for drinks and dinner and stuff. So her friend Chris was like, John wrote me this poem, and I would like to have it turned into a song.
Yeah.
And what does Julie say? Oh, Dave can do that.
Dave can do that.
So
thanks a lot.
So Julie gives me the poem, and says, "Hey, can you write this and turn this into a song for Chris's wedding? They're going to use it as their first dance." I said, "Okay." And in Chris's defense, she gave it to me like 6 months before the wedding. Well, Julie was like 2 weeks before the wedding, "Hey, did you ever get that song done?" And I was like,
uh-oh.
Well, you know how you procrastinate stuff when you don't really feel like doing it.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and put it together. I just came up with some guitar chords, played a little configuration on the guitar, ran over to the studio with Nappy was there, and Nappy's like, "Okay, what's with these words?" I said, "They're not my words. They're somebody else's words." He was like, okay, cool. You going to sing it? I said, "Yeah, I'll sing it real quick. Can you come up with some piano and little strings and stuff?" I said, "I don't want drums in it.
Make magic.
Just want maybe a kick drum and some tambourine, maybe a shaker. I don't know. We'll
and more cowbell.
Yeah, and we'll play it by ear." So we went ahead and laid it down in one take. And then I did another pass with a background, like a 2-part harmony, and that's a song. It was played as their first dance. He was crying like a baby.
Yeah, well, it was his lyrics. He was touched,
and I was crying like a baby because I didn't want.
You had to go into witness protection after this, didn't you?
Yes, but it's a song called "You Are My World." It's never appeared anywhere else. Played once. Have at it, Scott.
Yeah, just close your eyes and settle back and enjoy this.
For years I sat alone, content just being me, never thinking I needed more. My life needed something to make me complete, and what I needed was you and me. You are my world, the dreams that I dream, and everything between, the beat in my heart. I knew it from the start, we'll never be apart. You are my world. Waiting on the line, just searching for a sign, and there you were. Never could I have dreamed, so it would seem, but you would be with me. Light of my day, you take my breath away. The dark in my night, you come to make everything alright. The passion I possess, with care and tenderness, the one that I love. You are my world, the dreams that I dream, and everything between, the beat in my heart. I knew it from the start, we'll never be apart. I knew it from the start, we'll never be apart. You are my world. You are my world.
You know, in context, given everything that's involved here, first of all, your surgery was magnificent. What you did to take and lift it out, at least lift it out of the muck of, are you fucking kidding me? And again, it's one of those kind of things where even a hardcore, cynical bunch of guys like us can realize this was written from his heart. He was in love.
He's a very nice guy,
and that's touching.
And he was in love.
And I'll tell you what, it's no worse. And by the way, what I was started to do earlier, and then just listening to it again now, this is about the fourth time I've heard this. my first inclination, the first time I heard it, I could hear in my head saying to you in this moment, I'd like to publicly apologize to Prince for whatever I said last week. But you know what? In its context, it's no more mundane or generic than what I was bitching about with Prince's stuff.
Right.
And then Lionel Richie comes to mind when it comes to hello, where are we going to go? We're in love because the moon is above. And that's what, and this guy's excuse is that he was in love. Well, he's not a professional songwriter.
He's not a poet. He just was feeling it
from the heart.
And, they're a great couple. As you often do with work friends, she moved on to another job. Julie moved on to, we've lost touch, but, the wedding, it was a very nice wedding. And as I said, Julie was in the bridal party.
Are they still married?
Yes. A couple kids.
There you go. That alone right there.
But, one pass, a shout out to Nappy who just laid all the string lines and stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
That was one pass live.
And you know what? You and I, look, we have critical eyes because we do, and because we've done this as long as we've done it. So our standards are different, which doesn't mean they're better. It just means they're different.
Right.
Your average Joe or Jane listening to that, knowing the context, would probably if my wife heard that, you know what she'd say. Oh, that's, that's nice. And I'd go, yeah, but it's Moon June romance. Yeah, but, so you know what? On behalf of,
Yes, but like I said, that's what I get for procrastinating. I couldn't, but the You Are My World was just one line. I had to find a hook.
Well, what you accomplished was noteworthy because what you did was you made it better. You made it good. And you also dealt with what is really the songwriter's equivalent of hey, my little brother plays the drums. You mind if he sits in the next gig?
Yeah. Pretty much.
There's that.
Scott Edward Phelps, Dave Simmons, The Audiophiles.
It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
All right. Got a little riddle at the outset of the show. Time to solve the puzzle. In order to do that, I got to do 2 minutes at 45 RPM.
And now. And now.
So how long is this going to take?
I'll give you my solemn word as an embezzler. 2 minutes.
45 RPM with Scott Edward Phelps.
How much? Not much.
Kindly rephrase in more specific terms.
A little bit.
I'm waiting.
Well, everybody's waiting for something. At the outset of the show, we opened up with an little mini excerpt of a kind of a Belinda Carlisle-ish 80s bebop go-go's little thing called Hey DJ. Clearly sung by a young girl back in the day. It was around 1980, 81. Who was it? What was it? Well, by golly, I did an episode of my other podcast, 45 RPM, with Scott Edward Phelps. And I believe it was the episode I called Shameless Self-Promotion, in which I played songs that I had written or been involved with in some way. Kind of like a version of what we're doing now, except it played the whole songs, and it was all about me. There was no Dave Simmons at all. But Dave wasn't around. If he had, I would have had him as a guest, and it would have been fine. But the solution to, or the resolution to the, hey, who was that and what was going on with that? Well, it's all explained right here in this short excerpt from 45 RPM.
Scott Edward Phelps at 45 RPM.
All right, unless you're one of about, 6, 7, about 8 people on the planet Earth, you will never guess who this is, nor where this song came from. But what the hell, it's my show. So check it out, and then I'll tell you at 45 RPM.
He doesn't answer when I call him. He won't let me in the door. We bought it up like little children. Now he says he doesn't want me anymore. Living without him is such a negative sensation that I pick up the phone and call his favorite station saying, hey, DJ, dedicate this to my baby. Hey, DJ, if he's tuning in tonight, he's gotta hear this song and hear that I was wrong. My happiness depends on what you play. Hey, DJ. Hey. Hey, DJ. Won't you play? Hey, DJ. Hey, DJ.
Long time ago in a marriage far, far away, the young lady was my stepdaughter, and we We being she and her mom and me wrote that song while we were working for a publishing company in Nashville that had a pop music office on the West Coast. And Dora sang the demo that you just heard of that song. Nothing ever came of it, but she was quite the singer. Oh, and by the way, when she did the demo, she was 13 years old.
That's awesome. Not just the same old, 45 RPM.
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
You know what that reminded me of? And that had to be early 80s, right?
81, 82.
Missing Persons.
Sure.
Dale Bozio
Sure.
with the squeaky.
Oh, yeah. And
voice.
she was 13. So she was a teenager. She was into Belinda. She was into Adamant. You got that whole group. But she had her mom's pipes. She was singing and wailing and carrying on.
Yeah.
By way of fun gray hair popping for all of us, not just me. That 13-year-old is now 53 years old with 2 grown sons of her own and grandchildren. So,
wow.
Oh my God. Let's have some energy drinks.
Gather round, kids.
The best for less.
It's just what you need. It's a good quality item.
The ladies really dig these things, if you know what I mean, and I think you do.
Yes, sir. We're next month's garage sale for sure.
Dave Simmons.
Wherever toys are sold.
I'll be here after the meeting to hand out information packets and take your checks. Just make them out to cash. That's my maiden name.
You know, it occurs to me that Gilbert...
That always kills me.
Gilbert may have been related to Estelle. There's a certain quality of the voice there.
Yeah, I love Gilbert.
All right, do your penance, pal.
All right.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
I proudly endorse HHG Drums. Thank you, Sam and Kevin. Trinity Cymbals, Robbie and Lynn. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. Iowa. Hello, Indonesia, in Solo Beat Drumsticks. Matter of fact, I got another package out for delivery today.
He's a very bad man, Jenny. A very, very bad man.
So, thank you, Iowa, for all you do for me. And, Nia Cox at XS Energy Drinks. And, I got a shameless plug. Thursday, we are opening for Flow Rider with the Drum DJ Show on the Wildwood Pier in Wildwood, New Jersey, August 10th, 2023, in case you listen to this 30 years from now.
Check the show out, and if you've got a poem you'd like put to music, stop by the drum stand while you're there. Dave will fix you up.
So that's September 20th, Ultimate Diamond at the Milton Theater, Milton, Delaware. September 20th, 2023, that is. If you're listening to it, don't try to buy tickets 10 years from now.
That's right.
Unless you have a time machine, which that might be possible then.
It's going to go one way or the other. We're either going to advance beyond belief, or we're just going to finally blow this whole ball right out of the old universe.
And Scott, I'd like to shamelessly plug.
Yes.
Well, 2 things. I'd like to shamelessly plug the Audiophiles. The Audiophiles are currently being enjoyed in the United States, Ireland.
Well, they got no taste over there.
Germany, India, Portugal.
Yes.
Hello, Indonesia. Canada. And Romania.
I'm digging the Romania.
Yes. So hard to believe that's a thing.
It's amazing that people all over the world have way more time on their hands and apparently no discernible taste whatsoever in podcasts or music.
That is true. And check out our companion podcast, the Audiophiles.
That's right. This week we're back to what passes for normal. Full versions of each of the songs that you heard excerpted, including You Are My World.
Oh, Lord. So that's all I have. You have anything else, Scott?
Well, I would like to announce that I'm feeling ever closer each week to the possibility that... No, actually, I had a little surprise for Dave. The occasion didn't come up to use it, but I've reinstalled it in our master soundboard. A very special guest of the show for many, many years who hasn't been with us for a while. And the double dose con, too.
My favorite.
Not just that single going down. All right, going out, here's the deal. One last little mini story. Dora, that's Dora Morrison. She was my stepdaughter back in the day. She was 13 at the time. We did 2 songs for that session, actually. We toyed with the idea of pitching Dora as an artist. She was cute. She was attractive. And that's not necessarily the same thing. those songs show a little bit of it. She really had her mother's vocals. She could she had like 5 octaves. She just nailed it. And she had way before there was an American Idol, she was one of those kids that just makes you wonder because they walk out on the stage in front of 10,000 people and they act like they've been in show business all their lives.
Right,
they have poise and confidence and they project and all that.
Well, they had Star Search then, right?
Yeah, but that was really not quite the same because it was more of a performance. The audience it wasn't an interactive thing except for the applause and the cheering that went down. But Dora and Kim and I wrote 2 songs for Dora with the idea of pitching her to a label, and I don't know why we never ended up doing it or it didn't work out, whatever. But the first one was Hey DJ. And the other one, I just thought, what the heck, give you a chance to hear a little bit more of her as we take it out. This one was written by the 3 of us. It's called Whisper, and it was written for a 12 to 16-year-old or more like 10-year-old to 15-year-old demographic. The old saying about if you want to get somebody's attention, don't yell at them, whisper. Because they're listening very carefully to what you're having to say. And musically, it's evocative of that time when you had Missing Persons and Belinda Carlisle and
they were doing Careless
Adam
Whispers
Ant
at that time
too.
too.
Well, this ain't no ballad. This is another one of those little catchy kind of things. But one other thought too. Regardless of what I said, I want it understood that I have all the respect in the world for all the professional people we've talked about during this episode, and I'd just like to say one more time. Kenny Rogers, not so much Kenny because, that's the way it goes. But Clive Davis, bite me. You're not a miracle man. You don't have miracle ears. You lucked out a lot of times. You like songs, you get them. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying.
Oddly enough, it sounds bitter.
I know, and I'm working on that. Maybe he can help me get West Virginia to wake the fuck up. How would that be? All right. Let's stop that now. I'm Scott Phelps.
I'm Dave Simmons.
And I used to be Scott Edward Phelps. Now I'm Scott Phelps.
Scotty.
Forgot to make the payment on my middle name this week. And we are the Audiophiles.
Don't bother coming on to me like all the others. I require a little subtlety in a lover. Sure way to get my attention.
The Audiophiles is produced in the United States of America. Questions, comments, and witty banter welcome. Audiophiles broadcast at gmail.com. The Audiophiles.
Okay.